Hey guys, welcome to the first video of the of. Please don't mind my hair. I really wanted to go over this topic because every time I look at these photos, I feel like a monkey. I feel like a monkey's neurons are turning on, and I just don't like that feeling. Um, so yeah, let's just get on to the first concept. So there is something called The Descent of Man by Charles Darwin in 1871. It basically states that sexual selection or sexual competition is driven by the male need for mates. Um, but as modern research suggests, is that females compete equally too. They are also driven by sexual selection. Right, so there is a concept called deceptive signaling. This is when a sender transmits false or misleading information to a receiver to gain an advantage. This doesn't just go with um, economics or whatever this is. This also goes for nature and animal behavior. Examples include sexual mimicry to trick competitors, such as bluegill sunfish males pretending to be females, or predators using sensory traps to lure prey. Now, we do this in the same way as in social media. We use special lighting, we use special angles, we use different clothing to bring out just the fragility of the human body. Alright, so I'm gonna use Miss Sunino here as an example. No, I did not choose her because I gooned to her. I chose her because I just remember her being on my For You page a while ago having a Miata. So it kind of made a meaning to me a bit because I also had a Miata then. I was getting Miata suggested videos. So, anyways, returning back, we have very special lighting here. We have an angle, perfect angle, perfect editing here. I can assure you that glow is not natural. Maybe it is. Maybe she oiled herself out before this. Um, and everyone's just going batshit crazy in the comment section. But I can assure you there's someone in here that is trying to devalue this in some way, or girls see this and then they're like, damn, I might need to try harder to attract mates. And there's actually a hypothesis about this called the nubility hypothesis, proposed by Marlowe. It suggests that the permanently enlarged fat-filled breasts of human females evolved as an honest signal of age and high residual reproductive value, rather than immediate lactation ability. So when we're showing revealing photos like these, um, I mean, those were just eyes, but it could have been breasts. We're signaling high reproduction ability. We're not just trying to prove our sexiness. We're trying to prove our youth. We're trying to prove that we are better than anyone, just like a peacock fluffing its feathers. And again, this shit just ties back to biology. If we're, viewing a woman's butt, hips, or thighs, um, we're looking at we're looking at reproductivity abilities here. It says here in the third trimester of pregnancy, glutofemoral fat in the buttocks, hips, and thighs, it serves as a biochemical reservoir, and it's important for the baby's or infant's brain development. So it's actually a very crucial indicator for mating. That's why we're so drawn to it like monkeys. At a psychological level, perhaps the most profound effect of objectifying treatment is that it coaxes girls and women to adopt a peculiar view of self. Objectification theory posits that cultural milieu of objectification functions to socialize girls and women to, at some level, treat themselves as objects to be looked at and evaluated. So, whenever we view an image on social media that has a sort of a perfect version of themselves, we start to look at ourselves from a third person perspective. And we just start to post our pictures based on that. And it's not healthy. When we're always security guards of our lives, we begin to use 100% energy towards that, and we totally forget about our hobbies and our values and our merit, our morals that we should actually be putting energy into. That's why a lot of self-improvement accounts are like delete social media. I mean, sometimes this could be a good thing because some people can get a reality check. Like whenever you post a photo that you're like, "Damn, this looks good. Like I'm gonna post it now." But then you post it and you just don't get. And there's actually a big predictor of the nature of posting these pictures, something called grandiose narcissism. It's characterized by an inflated, arrogant, and highly visible sense of self importance, entitlement, and superiority. So when they post these photos, they know these likes are going to come, they expect them to come. So that's why they post it. Then there is vulnerable narcissists who hide classic narcissistic traits like entitlement, low empathy, and a need for admiration behind a facade of insecurity, hypersensitivity, and self pity. So this basically means, do you still think I'm pretty? And they depend on these likes and then or comments or admiration, and then they don't get it, they end up getting the reality check that I spoke of earlier. And unless if we show our cleavage or our butt, we won't get any attention. Because if we just show our face, we're not gonna get anything. So it's time to start showing off the big boys. And there's something called Machiavellianism, characterized by manipulativeness, cunning, or cynicism, and a focus on self-interest. It's essentially to get more followers, more money, more power, it's to play a game of chess. It's not necessarily because they want the likes, it's because they know if they begin editing their photos for hours and hours on end, they know they will get what they want. Then there are two types of social sexual orientation people. There are restricted, there is unrestricted. Unrestricted is when you are more likely to see the sexy photos because they are just looking for short-term relationships, aka sex. And then there's restricted orientation, where people are less likely to post photos like that and more likely to post photos of them in doing hobbies, doing activities, doing community work, their job, or whatever just, makes them feel morally good. All right, and then going into the gambling part of social media. Um, this is essentially the psychology tricks that Instagram, TikTok, and even maybe even Snapchat likes to play on you. They like to play you like a slot machine because you don't know when the dopamine's gonna hit. You don't know when you're gonna get 100 likes. You don't know when you're gonna get 200. But you realize that if you start posting more revealing photos or whatever, let me get rid of this pop up, you may get a high reward. This is insane. This is like, you know, treating us like machines here, or treating themselves like machines. Uh, and I'm pretty sure everyone's had that audience illusion where like you post something and but you're thinking of that one person, but you're in reality you're posting it to everyone, your grandma, your family, your friends, your the person that you hate and you feel obligated to keep following. And there are three major types of capitals to winning life. The majority like to view life. There is economic capital, which is essentially having enough money. Cultural capital is just knowing knowledge, pursuit of knowledge. There's social capital where you are able to have a network of people or just friends in general. Um, Miss sociologist Catherine Hakim says there's a fourth. There's erotic capital. And what this means is that when you don't have a lot of money or when you don't have not a lot of knowledge, you have your body. You have your body as a way of trading for good business. That's why OnlyFans exists. Instagram is step 1, OnlyFans is step 2. And because of this, people treat themselves like businesses. They treat them like themselves like a market. So whenever you see fitness influencers revealing their body, they're like, "Oh, this is my hard work." It kind of protects their ego in a way. So it's kind of like a two for one, you know? All right, I'm going to use Miss Anna as an example of medium facism here that I got from top 35 San Diego fitness influencers. This is medium facism because we're looking at a person who is blending two signals together. Um, we're showing our personality here, like, oh, I'm positive, but I'm also very nurturing. Now, she isn't completely anonymous here because she's still showing like side of her face. But say if she wasn't, say she was hiding her face, she was only showing that. Um, then it would be a form of dehumanization. And but because people think like glutes are earned in the gym, um, then it isn't just about sex. It's about like them earning sort of like this trophy. So whenever we get pictures like this, they're basically saying like, "Oh, look at the hard work I put in. This is through the hard work of squats and deadlifts." And as I've said again and again, there's just a big line of social comparison on these platforms. As in upward social comparison, it is the tendency to compare ourselves with those perceived to be better off than us. So every time we see a perfect version of someone, we always kind of subconsciously check up on ourselves. And what this does is it triggers body shame. And what does that lead to? It leads us to start posting more daring photos. And even when those photos start to become normal, that's when we start to become more. So all these things are just really four big levels. That is evolution, objectification, biology, money, and power. Evolution just has to do with the fact that our brains are always going to be like monkey brains, and we're going to compete like we did um, the same way our ancestors did. And as with objectification, we treat our lives like a video game. As before social media, I'm pretty sure people, well, there's probably different ways people view themselves from a person perspective, but we just need to shift our perspectives to a more of a first person perspective rather than a third person, because in that third person perspective, we start to evaluate ourselves with such excess, and it's such a sad thing because like 90% of people do this. And on a biology level, there's obviously the dopamine effect where it's essentially like a slot machine, these posting these photos. The same could be said about dating apps when you don't know when you will get a match, and that's the thing that hooks you to stay on it. Then there is money and power, the money and power level, which is essentially the erotic capital that I talked about earlier. We start to use our bodies as a way to gain power, gain status, gain money, um, anything to be on the higher level of social standing. So that's all I have to say for today. And to finish off the video, I just want to ask myself, what do I know?